I left the city, I've been browsing. Treading water that they drowning. I head on the swivel, yeah. It's only really my surroundings. They keep it all the way 1,000.
Hey everybody, it's Zach, aka Zach's Reviews. We are back again with another video. And guys, today we're going to be talking about episode 3 of What If. And today's title for episode 3 of What If is What If the World Lost Its Mightiest Heroes? And let me tell you guys, this episode is like probably up there with the Black Panther episode. Again, we're getting a lot of other episodes. So like I would say as of right now, I would probably put it the Black Panther, then this episode, and then Captain Carter. But I know there's going to be a whole bunch of other cool, concepts going forward with, Doctor Strange and the whole, Marvel Zombies. But this episode 3, was a great episode. It was a great concept to be like, what if we lost Earth's mightiest heroes? And I love that concept because literally it starts on like literally, I think if I'm correct, like I think on Monday, and like it goes throughout the week or something, or maybe it started on I think it started on Monday or whatever, or Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't quite remember, but it goes throughout the week of us losing our Avengers through different points of what we know in the timeline. We see in Iron Man 2, they're rolling up, Nick Fury and, Natasha, Black Widow, they're rolling up, and it's the scene, literally, they're rolling up to the donut shop, where, Iron Man and, Tony is in the donut, eating, the donuts in the donut, and, I love it that we get the iconic line where he's like, "Oh, hey, I'm gonna have to ask you to exit the donut." That's Nick Fury, says that line. But before we get there, I love seeing how we saw that conversation of Natasha talking to Nick Fury about why would we recruit him? Like he's how he is, and I love how Nick Fury's like, well, at one point, people thought it was, I was crazy to, recruit, a Russian spy, to be a part of, the Shield. And, so we see the moment where he's like, "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to exit the donut." And then they go into the donut shop, and, we see, what the Arca reactor is doing to him, of course, on his neck. And, Natasha walks in, gives him that injection. And then he's like, "Oh, like, it's not a cure, but it's for you to take the edge off." And literally, he ends up dying. Tony ends up dying, and I was like, oh my god, because at that moment, that just is supposed to, like, they take the edge off because he's stressed. He's like, says, pretty much he's at the moment where he's like, I'm going to die anyways. I'm going to be, be like how everybody expects me to be. I'm just going to be reckless and careless. I'm just going to do whatever I want because I only have a couple of days left to live anyways, and I can't find a cure. So, when she's like, oh, like, when, well, Nick Fury's like, this is meant to take the edge off. It's not a cure. And he ends up dropping on the ground. And Nick Fury, like in a way, it looks like Natasha killed him, but I was like, that can't be right. She didn't kill him. What the hell's going on? Who killed? Well, how this happened? I just couldn't process what I just saw. He just face planted on the ground and died. I was like, oh my god, what is this going to do like what's happening? I didn't know what we were gonna get in this episode. So just to see Tony Stark die in that moment when we know that's supposed to make him find a cure, and make him make the new mineral to survive. I was like, oh my god, he's dead. And that really did take the edge off. He died. So, seeing that moment where, everybody thinks, Natasha killed him, she's being put away in prison. She's getting moved somewhere else to a secure location. And Nick Fury pretty much gives her, a device to get out. And, to pick her, her cuffs and get out. And we see Rumlow in the Shield team taking her somewhere, and they're in the truck. Rumlow's in the front, and he's pretty much saying, oh, like, well, before we get to that, well, Natasha's in the back saying, oh, like, can we add some music? It's very quiet back here, and she's pretty much saying, oh, guys, like, it's like, why is it so quiet? And she's just pretty much trying to get a rise out of them, like, so she can escape, I guess. So. And then no one's really responding to her. And she's like, oh, can you hold my handcuffs? And he's like, oh, yeah. He's like, oh, yeah, sure. Wait, how'd you get... And then there was a cool fight sequence with Natasha literally in the back of the truck, which was sick. Seeing how cool even the fight choreography is for animation, the way Marvel's able to, like, make their, like... transfer their live action to an animation is freaking phenomenal. That was a cool fight sequence with Natasha literally in the back of that truck. And then while she's doing all the fighting in the back, we see, of course, Rumlow saying, I don't know what Nick Fury sees in her. Like, like she's so overhyped or whatever. And then we just see Natasha kicking ass in the back, and he hears what's going on. He's like, oh, wait, stop the truck. And then he goes in the back, and Natasha's gone. And he's just like, ah. It was funny because, Rumlow is a piece of crap. I was so happy when Cap kicked the crap out of him in Winter Soldier in the elevator sequence. I'm like, who the hell you think you are thinking you could say, Cap, get out of here, you're trash. So seeing that moment, that was cool, and she escapes because she, again, Nick Fury knew that she didn't kill Stark, but he's like, I need someone on the outside that I can trust to find out who killed Stark, because I feel like there's something going on in S.H.I.E.L.D., and I need you to go out and, go figure out who's doing this. And right as she's trying to figure that out, she goes to I'm forgetting her name, but she goes to, like, Hulk's love interest. I'm in the back of my head, I'm forgetting what her name is. And I can't believe it. I'm gonna figure that out because it's literally gonna, like, annoy me. I'm gonna look up Incredible Hulk because I don't feel like trying to look through through, like, the the IMDb of What If. Let me find it. Okay, Betty. So pretty much Natasha wants to go to Betty to figure out what was in the syringe that killed Stark. So while that's going on, we see the moment where Nick Fury is with Clint Barton, and they're at the point where, like, he is about to get, like, that scene in Thor 1 where he is trying to get Mjolnir back. And that was such a sick scene to see that happen. But he's trying to get Mjolnir back while Natasha is trying to figure out again through, Betty, what killed Stark. And it was a cool moment because right as we see, the moment where, he's like, he told Coulson to put a barrier around the place because people are wondering what the hammer is, and, people are getting antsy, and, there's a big crowd of people trying to, pick up the hammer. He's like, put a perimeter around it. I'll be there soon. So, when he gets there and the perimeter's there, we see Coulson, we see, Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye, he's playing the voice again. Same, of course, as Samuel L. Jackson is playing Nick Fury. It's crazy because, a lot of people didn't come back to play these characters, like, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, and along with some other people. I think those might be it, like the main people that didn't come back. But the girl that played Black Widow, I couldn't tell it was, like, some moments I was like, oh my god, I can't tell, is this actually Scarlett Johansson? Like, whoever played her voice did a great job. So shout out to you. You really perfected that voice, because for a second I thought it was actually Scarlett Johansson. So that's very impressive. Same with the guy that played, Skinny Steve, played, Captain America, and was supposed to sound like Chris Evans. He did a pretty good job too. So the people that they hired, for the people that didn't, since Chris Evans and them all didn't come back, they did a really good job that you really kind of can't tell the difference, which is pretty impressive. I mean, you kind of can in some moments, but other than that, it's very impressive. So seeing the moment where, Clint's talking to, Nick Fury about, he's like, why? Because Nick Fury is asking why is there lightning just going off and on. And he's like, that's been happening all day. This hammer's very sensitive and everything. And he's like, oh, like, what should we do? Like, we can't move it. And he's like, well, I feel like either the threat or our ally will come and get this. So we'll see what happens. And then we see, of course, Thor breaking in, taking all the guards out, and of course Coulson comes across one and says, "Oh, we have a perimeter breach. Something's going on." And he tells Hawkeye to get up top, keep a lookout. We'll see if this is a friend or a foe. And we get to the moment where he's like, "Oh, I have the killing blow." Hawkeye, he's like, "Oh, do you like his Thor's about to pick up his hammer?" And as we all know from the movies, even when Thor tries getting it, he can't pick it up. He's not worthy yet. But it was funny because they were making jokes about, oh my god, when Coulson did have eyes on the target, or it was funny because he's like, oh my god, he's gorgeous, he has great hair. And then when Hawkeye sees him, it's like, oh my god, Coulson wasn't lying. The dude does have great hair. Oh my god, it was just funny to hear that hair, because we see reminiscent of that in Thor 1. We're like, oh, he's a good looking dude. Oh my god, you know what I mean, like that. So I thought that was very funny. That's probably what they were thinking. In my head, like, we could say, oh, maybe that's what they did say when Coulson did see him and everything. Like, that'd be funny to me if that actually was, like, something they said but they didn't show it in the movies. So I thought that was cool to see those moments of, oh my god, that's cool to me. So we see the moment where, like, Hawkeye has a killing blow, and, of course, Nick Fury says, don't fire, I want to see what happens. And then next thing you know, the arrow just shoots into Thor. Thor's dead. And I was like, oh my god, I'm like, they just killed off Thor. What is happening where our heroes are dying? Because I didn't read the title. So going into this, I was like, why are people dying? Why are our heroes dying? In the most pivotal moments of their stories. What is happening? So, and Hawkeye's like, he's like, I didn't do it. I didn't release. I don't know what happened. And pretty much he gets put away in prison as well. And I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, okay, he's in prison too. So right when, Coulson and Fury go see him to talk to him, because he's not talking to anybody. He's like questioning, I didn't do it. What's happening? I don't know what happened. I never slip up. What happened? And right when Fury goes in to talk to him, even Hawkeye ends up dying. And I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, Hawkeye's dead too? Clint's dead? Like, what is happening? So we get to the point, of course, when, Fury calls Natasha saying Clint's dead, and she's like, who do I have to kill? And, we don't know what's happening. First Stark, first Clint, second, second, Thor, and then third, Clint. Who is killing off these people? And we don't know what's happening yet. And they end up putting together, they're killing off everybody in the Avengers Initiative. When he's like, I had an idea. Your idea, you know what I mean, is not a thing. Someone clearly is taking away all hope, which we end up finding out when, Natasha's like, this person's taking out hope for, Earth to be safe. Your idea, like, of Earth's mightiest heroes to put together a team, like, they know about it, and they're trying to take that us out of the equation. So I was like, okay, who is doing this? So, we get to the point where, she again is talking to Betty, trying to figure out who did it. And she's like, everything is fine here. Your syringe, had the antidote, but it didn't even fire out yet. Whatever killed him must have shot out. Like, there must have been like a projectile inside this. It must have shot out before you can even, the syringe, the medicine's still in here. So she's like, okay, like, someone's been tampered with it. Do you know who did it? And she's like, I don't work in this. This is like, technology. This is beyond my expertise. Like, this is like weapon stuff right here. I don't know who did this. Is tactical. I don't know who did this or whatever, but I can't help you. And pretty much, she's about to walk out, and then she realizes that everybody's dead. There's Stark's dead, and there's a problem here. I need your help. And that gets to the point, of course, when she ends up finding out, like, I need to find, Bruce. Do you know where Bruce is? And she's like, no, I can't help you. Just leave. And then, of course, she ends up saying, seeing the pizza outfit, which we do see in Incredible Hulk, when he is wearing the pizza outfit, but he doesn't see Betty. He wants to go see her, but Betty doesn't see him, and he's in the pizza outfit to get in undercover, because, again, Ross and everybody are after him, but he wants to see Betty. So, but in this version, he does see Betty, and he takes off the pizza outfit, and he hides in the closet, which I thought was cool that they're switching up, but they're still giving us what we know from the MCU, which I really do love. Marvel's so good at giving us the moments of, maybe they did say that before, and we didn't see that. Or maybe, we're going to switch it up and do, and have Bruce actually talk to Betty, and in his, pizza disguise, his, pizza delivery disguise. So I really do love what they're doing with What If. I love it so much. It's so fresh, new, and creative, and it makes me just, I love what they're doing, showing us different versions of the multiverse, and it's such a clever way to do it through animation, because you can do whatever you want, and it's a great choice that they chose animation to do this. And I'm happy it already got confirmed for season 2 this series, so that's great. But, so we see, Bruce, and he's like, I'm not, like, it's best not to get angry or get hyped or whatever, because bad things can happen. And she's like, we gotta leave, because she hears the tanks and, Ross popping up. And of course we get to that scene where it's like that glass opening where, they shoot in the canisters, and, Bruce, gets angry in the Incredible Hulk movie. So, but, we see that sequence, but Natasha's with him, and she's like, okay, we gotta go. But she calls Fury and said, we got a problem here. I have, you have Ross with tanks here pointing at us, and I have Bruce with me. And she's like, oh, what are you going through right now? And he's like, oh, I'm a little busy. I have the whole, second, during, like, the center of the earth, everybody, like, army pointed at me, like, so I win. So, I just thought that was funny. They're, like, comparing what they were going through, like, who wins. And, Fury got Natasha beat. Literally, you have the whole entire Asgard army pointed at you, and you don't even know they're from Asgard yet, because they don't even know where Thor was from. So, while they're, they're confronting, Fury, saying, oh, you killed my brother, and, we're gonna waste this land. Loki's in charge of the Warriors 3 and, the Asgard army, since, Thor's dead now. So, he's like, you killed my brother, I'm gonna waste this place. He has the frost giant, I forget what it's called, but the thing that produces ice, he's got that. And it was just crazy to see that. And while that's going on, he's trying to make a deal with Loki, saying, "Look, we're trying to figure out who's been killing everybody too. They killed two of our members already. So and including your brother. So I want to, if anything, you can help me, or I can help you figure out who the killer is, and you can have a pound of flesh." He's like, I want all of the person. I want all the flesh. I have a bone to pick with this person. So he's like, and then he's like, okay, you're gonna have to give me some time. And then Loki's like, I'm gonna give you until sundown, or your next sun to, until your next sunrise to give me the killer. So while he's trying to figure out who the killer is, and Natasha's trying to get out of that situation, while the Hulk busts out anyways, ends up destroying all the tanks, everything from the Incredible Hulk sequence. Ross is just shooting at him, and then, Betty's running to Ross, trying to make him stop to her father, and Natasha grabs her, saying, no, it's already too late, just, leave it, or whatever, it's just not a good idea. So, while, Ross is shooting at him, and he's about to, pretty much, I guess, kill everybody, essentially, Hulk ends up getting super puffy, and I'm like, oh my god, you're blowing up like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Something bad's gonna happen right now. And then they got to the point where man exploded. He exploded, and I kid you not. I was like, oh my god. Whoever's killing off these Avengers is like the greatest villain ever. Like, oh my god. Because we've encountered people that have tried killing our villains that have failed miserably. And this person is getting is literally coming out with triple Yahtzees all the way around. Like, he's just offing the entire, Avengers Initiative, project. He's offing everybody. And I was like, oh my god. And Betty's like, oh my god, no one could kill him. No one could hurt him. How is this possible? And she's just crying. And I was just like, oh my god, you killed off the Hulk. What the hell? I'm like, who is killing them? A part of me thought, oh my god, it's Ego, because we saw Ego in the last episode. I'm like, I don't know who's killing them, who's able to kill off the Avengers. What is happening? Before they can unite and become the Avengers, I'm like, who's killing them off? Because again, people have tried and they have failed. I'm like, who is killing them? So then we got to the point, of course, when Natasha's trying to, she's in the library of the sequence again in the Incredible Hulk where, Bruce is running through the library and he ends up putting the drive in his mouth. So we see that library at that school where Betty works. So she's on the computer trying to figure out, trying to get into the SHIELD database, but of course she's kicked out because, she is a wanted fugitive again, so she can't be in the SHIELD database. So she ends up talking to Coulson, saying, I need your password to look up, who is in the Avengers Initiative. I need I need your password. And he's like, I'm not giving it to you, I'm not giving it to you, Natasha. I'm not giving it to you. And then she's like, come on, Clint was your friend too. I need your help. And he's like, okay, fine. And I even wrote it down because I was crying of laughter of how funny this sequence was, what his password was. It was, I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget it. It is, I repeat, Steve, I heart Steve 04, 0704. That's what it was. It's literally Steve, I heart Steve, 0704. And I cried. I was like, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. And it makes sense because we all know, Agent Coulson had a big man crush on Steve. Like, he loved Steve Rogers. He did. And I just thought it was so funny and clever that, they made us remember that he was a big fan of Steve Rogers. He had a big crush on Steve Rogers. So I love that. I love that so much, how, his password was, again, hashtag Steve, I heart Steve, 0704. I thought that was so freaking funny. So she's like, oh, that's funny. And then she's like, yeah, bye. He's like, okay, bye. And, she's looking at the Avengers Initiative and she's like, oh my God, he's going after, whoever this is going after the Avengers Initiative program, okay? And she hears someone in the back trying to sneak up on her and take her out. And I love how she's like, you chose the wrong person to go after. You think you're going to be able to even get your hands on me. You're wrong. You're not going to win this fight. And then this person's just kicking her ass all the way around, kicking her all the way around the room, making her smack into the ceiling, literally throwing around Natasha. And I'm like, who the heck is this? Are they invisible? What's going on? I didn't put together that when, there's a moment where she tries, calling Fury, and, she's about to tell, Fury, it's Hope. They're going after Hope, and gets dragged into the darkness because the bookshelf fell down. And, she's dragged, it's a voice message. And, she crawls over to it. She's trying to say something, it's Hope, it's Hope. They're going after Hope and gets dragged. And I'm like, okay, Natasha's dead too. Great. They killed everybody. And Fury gets that message saying it's Hope. They're going after Hope. Meaning he clicked together, they're going after the Hope of the Avengers Initiative and going after the Hope of Captain Marvel. Like, they're going after the Hope of the Earth, which is the Avengers and Captain Marvel. Any Earth's mightiest hero that can help Earth and protect Earth, they're going after that. They're taking away Hope. So I'm like, and then I thought to myself, also, Hope, meaning because of Hope. Meaning also, when I didn't put this together, also, it's Hope, meaning, Hank Pym's daughter, Hope. Pretty much, we end up finding out that Hank Pym is the villain. And we end up seeing Nick Fury go to San Francisco. I'm like, okay, why is he in San Francisco? But he puts it together that it's Hope, and the person that's killing everybody off is because of Nick Fury recruited Hope for the Avengers Initiative, but she ended up dying. And I'm talking, Hank Pym looked messed up. He looked crazy. He looked like he hasn't had sleep in years, and it was just disturbing. He was in the yellow jacket costume. Dude looked angry, and he killed all of Fury's hope because of the fact he's like, you took away my hope, my daughter, I took away your hope, the Avengers Initiative. And that was scary. I'm like, oh my god, I did not see this coming. I'm like, oh my god, that explains everything. And he explains how he was able to do everything and kill everybody off. He explained that, he was able to get into the syringe and kill Stark through there. He was able to, jump, hit, Hawkeye's arrow to make him release the arrow. He explained how he was able to, go into, shoot into Hulk and, and shoot something into his heart to make him explode. And explained also how he was able to kick Natasha's butt. He explained everything. He's like, you took away my hope, my daughter, I took away your hope. And then we see a moment where we think he's talking to Nick Fury, because Nick Fury was kicking ass. He wasn't Hank was not able to touch him at all. He was just bobbing and weaving, and Hank couldn't get a hand on him. I'm like, oh my god. And it was funny because and he did a front flip or a back flip over Hank Pym, and I'm like, oh my. And then Hank was like, you're pretty spry for your age. And I was like, oh my god. I'm like, is this actually Nick Fury? What's happening? Turns out it was Loki. It was Loki the entire time, and Loki ends up popping up a whole bunch of Nick Furies at first, and he's just Hank's like, how are you doing this? Because for a second, I'm like, oh my god, Nick Fury's going in on him. Hank cannot get a hand on him, even with his tech. Nick Fury's kicking Hank's ass. I'm like, oh my god. But it turns out it was actually Loki, because we see him, popping around, because Hank's like, how are you doing this? And he ends up laughing as Nick Fury, but then we end up finding out it's actually Loki, and ends up making copies of himself, like we've seen in in Thor 1, as we've seen him, and a whole bunch of other things. He makes copies of himself. So we end up seeing that moment, and he ends up pretty much Hank gets put away in I guess prison, is what I'm assuming. And, that's pretty much how the episode ends. Well, and he's like, okay, in there, he's trying to rebuild, the Avengers Initiative. And there's one more member left. Technically, there's one more member left, and it's Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers wasn't unfrozen in time, so he was never on. He was the last member that, Fury recruited for the Avengers Initiative, so he was never on the list. So that's why Hank Pym never went after him. So we see him building the new Avengers, which has Captain America, and also has Captain Marvel, which is going to be sick to see that Avengers group, hopefully we'll see a final draft of his new Avengers, which will be sick. But it is, again, sad that Hank Pym was able to kill off everybody. That made me very sad. Could you imagine if we saw that in live action? How sad that would be. That would be very sad to see all that go down. So I just was distraught. I was like, how is this happening? This is making me sad that all of our Avengers are dying. It made me super sad. I was like, holy crap. I'm like, who is killing them? And we got the answer. It was Hank Pym. And he was going, and when Natasha said Hope, he's going after, like, Hope or whatever. That's what they're after. Hope, his daughter, and went after Nick Fury's Hope, which was the Avengers Initiative. So I just loved this episode. Overall, great episode. I loved it. Again, I would put the Black Panther episode. I would put, with him as Star-Lord, and then I would put this episode, and then the Captain Carter episode, for sure. That's literally how I would rank the episodes so far. We have so many great episodes to come. Again, we have Marvel Zombies, or Avengers Zombies coming up soon. We have, the Doctor Strange one. We have, again, Tony with when Killmonger saves Tony, which I'm super excited for that one, and super excited for the zombie one, and a whole bunch of other, great stories to come. So, I'm just super stoked that, that we got this episode, and I was not prepared to have an episode like this. This was so out of the blue, to at least my knowledge, because again, I didn't read the title. I just clicked the video and watched the newest episode. So me going into this, I was happy I didn't see the title, because it's like it was more of a holy shit moment, because I didn't read the title of the episode. So guys, again, I had a blast with this episode. So I just, I had a blast with this episode. Again, I love what Marvel's doing with this What If series. I can't wait to see what else they're going to be doing in the series going forward. Also, again, I want to know what you guys thought down in the comments below about this concept of what if of Earth's Mightiest Heroes, what if they were, what if Earth's Mightiest Heroes were gone? I really want to know what you guys, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode. Again, it's a cool concept. I want to know what you guys thought about the concept of what if our heroes were gone, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. And, I want to know, did you guys know who the villain was at some certain point before they kind of put it to, before we saw Hank Pym? Did you guys who did you think was killing our heroes? Who did you think? Did you know it was Hank at one point? And did you get to the point where you're like, oh my god, it's Hank Pym? Or were you like, oh my god, who was killing them? Like I was. Or did you have some ideas of who was killing them? Again, I thought it was Ego at some point, because we saw Ego in the last episode. I was like, oh my god, could it be Ego? And I was like, no, it couldn't be Ego. So I was like, I don't know who's killing them. So it was a big shock for me, but I can't wait to know, hear what you guys thought about the episode. I can't wait to know what who do you think was killing them, and also I can't wait to see what episode was your favorite episode out of the 3 episodes we've gotten so far of What If. What was your favorite episode? And also let me know in the comments below what you guys are looking forward to seeing going forward in What If. I want to know going forward in this season. Also, what concepts do you guys hope we're gonna get next season for season 2? And also, guys, again, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, like this video. I would love to have you guys here, a part of this family here on this channel. We're growing each and every day. Right now, we're at 366, almost to 400 subs. I'm trying to get to 400. That's my new goal. I'm going to strive to that goal. Hopefully, one day I'll be able to get to 1,000 subscribers and make this channel super big, and keep spreading my love and positivity. And really make a mark on the world. That's my goal, to really make an impact on the world, on showing people, to follow your dreams and don't let anybody stand in your way. That's what I'm trying to spread, love, positivity, and motivation. And I would just love for you guys to be here, a part of this family, and talk about, pop culture and cinema and movies and everything. That's the channel for you. So again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. I would love to have you guys here. Again, if you're new, also, let me know down in the comments below so I can welcome you guys to the family. So guys, that was episode 3 of What If. Again, I loved it, and I cannot wait for episode 4. But guys, that is the video. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.